In this video, let's talk about the most important thing you could learn in school but don't, and how to use it now. You see, when I was studying abroad in college, there was actually like 2 weeks where I got really sick, and it was at the beginning of it. And during that time, I started watching this like 25-hour full-on like business course or whatever you want to call it. And I spent the whole time while I was abroad actually not really focusing on the classes at that school because they were all pass-fail and they're pretty not that great anyway. But I spent that time really reading and learning and all that. And one video that I saw that I really liked, this is a few years ago, was Charlie Munger's, and I know we've talked about him a lot, but Charlie Munger's commencement speech at, I think it was the USC Law School. And you could look it up online. It's maybe like a 14 minute video on YouTube. And he talked about a lot of things that I really liked. And one of those was what he called assiduity. And he pretty much said that what was really important to Warren Buffett and Warren Buffett being able to grow the business was their ability to just sit down for a long period of time and work. And you see, most people when they're studying in school and when they're working, they have all these distractions around. There's actually been studies that say you're distracted every like 3 or 4 minutes, which is crazy. And what's even crazier, supposedly it takes you, according to the study, 23 minutes to get back into the zone that you were in. And that's kind of the complete opposite of what Charlie Munger was talking about. It's the complete opposite of what Warren Buffett does, which is just sit down for a period of time and work. And what I really adopted, and I learned this from Eben Pagan, who's a really smart guy, and you may want to follow him as well. I've learned a lot from him. He talks about the 60-60-30 solution. So he talks about working in chunks of 60 minutes at a time. So what you'll do is you'll set your electronic timer for 50 minutes and work uninterrupted. Your cell phone is off or on do not disturb. You're making sure you cannot be disturbed, and you want to get in the zone. You know, Peter Drucker talks about this too. You want to work in long periods of time, long enough for you to get in the zone and really be able to go through what you're going through quickly and really just get into it deeply, you know. So he says to work, set a 50-minute timer, work, and then take a 10-minute break, and then work for another 50 minutes, and then another 10 minutes off, and then take a longer 30-minute break. So that's one thing you can do. Another thing that one author did, Tony Schwartz, when he was writing his book, and I've done this before and I've really liked this as well, is just work for 90 minutes straight and then take a 30-minute break and then work for another 90 minutes straight or whatever. You know, you can just see how you feel and use that to decide. But the point is just being able to sit down and work. And this really comes into play when we were talking about your reading ritual. And also for any other reading you want to do. You see, the biggest misconception that people have is reading is this thing where you could just lie down in bed and you know you have your phone next to you and it's kind of like time off. And if that's the approach you want to take, that's fine, but you're not going to go through 300 books this year or whatever your goal is. You need to be able to sit down or stand or however you want to read, doesn't really matter. But do it for a period of uninterrupted time and really get into it. I think this is so important, and that's really, to me, the most important thing you could learn in school but don't. The ability to be able to sit down in crunch time when you need to sit down and work and crank through something with full focus and full dedication. And that's really what I want for you when you're reading and learning. I really want you to be able to immerse in it and not get involved in all the distractions that we have in today's world and work how most people work, which is working for 3 or 4 minutes at a time and then getting interrupted and then spending another 20 minutes or so getting back in the zone, so to speak, if they ever even had the zone. It's just totally unproductive. So anyway, keep that in mind, especially when you're doing your reading ritual, whether it's in the morning or afternoon or at night or whenever it is. But keep that in mind that when you do read, you want it to be uninterrupted time when you're fully focused on your reading.